What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And I am live at 2:31. We got to talk, man. What's going on with Tyson Fury? Exhibitions? Is he coming back? Does he want the money to fight the best? Is it a smokescreen? Is it a bribe? Is it a counterpunch? We have to talk about it. Think big, be great. Question is, can Tyson Fury beat Usyk? That we don't know yet. Fury is just clouding. Listen, we don't know that. I am not alone with this. Bobby Collins, what's up, brother? What do you think about Joyce versus Hammer? Bobby, I saw your inbox. I will counterpunch that when I get to work. This is the last day, hopefully, of work on the show. And I will counterpunch in my trailer. But I'm not alone with this. Tyson Fury, you don't get out of the game at 33 years of age and be considered the greatest or compare yourself to Muhammad Ali. You don't do that. Or compare yourself to everybody that did what you aren't doing. Not just being freaking smart. Lex Gaming, YouTube. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Let's get those likes up. J.E. Prodigal Son. Fury will do anything to avoid fighting AJ. Well, I'll go a step further. If that what you say is right, J.E., I think he'll do anything to avoid fighting somebody that could beat him. Because if he really felt that AJ would give him a good fight, and then he sees AJ get beat by a smaller guy, what do you think he's going to think about the guy that beat AJ? Now, I'm not saying that Tyson Fury thinks that. I'm just saying, what if he does? If what you're saying is true. Joel, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Bars. But yeah, I mean, that's a thing. Tyson Fury predicted, though, that Usyk would beat Joshua. He said, please, don't let him beat him. What's up, Joel? Counterpunch to you, and it's with a K, not a C. One of the coordinators last night called me Curtis. I got so pissed off. I hate that. Don't call me Curtis. That's not my fucking name. You know, Curtis not short for Curtis. Fury will duck the winner of Usyk versus Joshua. Facts. Lex Gaming. No worries, Joel. Or is it Joel? But, Lex Gaming, let me tell you some real shit. Here's the counterpunch. If Tyson Fury does not fight the winner out of Usyk versus Joshua, and I want people to understand this, his stock will drop. And this is my prediction. I'm going to wait for my prediction when we get up to 100 people in here. When we get as many likes as we do people in here, I'm going to tell you what I think of Fury, and it's going to blow your mind. You got to wait for it. You got to wait for it. Usyk looking big in his IG pictures today. Yeah, I got to see it. Matter of fact, let's take a look so I can counterpunch that. So I got a lot to do, man. Like, the good thing about my job is that when I'm not on set, I'm in the trailer and I can do whatever I want, how many videos that I want to post, publish, you know, create, edit. And I can, you know, I'm free to do exactly that. Nobody really bothers you, as opposed to a regular job. Free Kane Velasquez, G.A. Prodigal Son, AJ is shite. Fury would maul him. We got to see it, Free Kane. We got to see that shit. We have to see it. We have to see it, because if we don't see it, we won't know. See, based on the logic you said, that means that George Foreman would have beat Muhammad Ali without even having to fight Muhammad Ali. And if he never fought Muhammad Ali, everybody's perception, if Okay, if George Foreman was fighting these days of perception and bandwagon and all this shit, okay, narratives. If George Foreman was 40-0 with 35 KOs and he fought in this current day of fighters, he would not technically have to fight Muhammad Ali if Muhammad Ali was fighting, because Muhammad Ali was beat by Joe Frazier. Therefore, Muhammad Ali is no good. Muhammad Ali is no good because he got beat by Frazier, and since Frazier got beat by Foreman, why would Foreman ever have to fight Ali? That's what we think of these days. That's how we have the perception of this day and time. Because that's exactly what happens in the sport of boxing, because people automatically eliminate a fighter because he took an L. If he took that L from this guy and that guy gets beat, automatically the guy that beat that guy that beat you will beat you. And you know that's not true. Why? Because history tells us it's not true. That's easy. Neither Fury or AJ is as feel as Usyk. Bars. Okay? Neither Fury or AJ is as feel as Usyk. Bars. Joel, you have to rhyme, or it has to sound like it rhymes in order to worthy it. Bars. Salute, Kurt, stuck on Virginia, Washington, D.C. traffic listening to you, my dude. Appreciate you, Henry Gomez. You know what? It's a mother sucker up there. I'm in ATL, and it's a mother sucker down here, too. Appreciate you watching. I think a lot of AJ's problems are in his head. He doesn't believe in his own work. It all starts with having a game plan and then the right application for his punch output. Fury could cause confusion. Let's talk about AJ for a minute. Now, we know his story. His story is his narrative. Oh, my team never worked on a game plan. You know? And how many of you guys believe that shit? How many of you guys believe that Anthony Joshua never had a game plan? He just trained hard like a fucking bodybuilder doing CrossFit and shit and boxing time to time. Joel, sorry, still learning. No, when you rhyme from time to time, then you got the dime. Bars, that's bars. AJ should get trained by Julius Francis. Okay. Julius Francis. Without AJ fighting Fury and Usyk, it all is a comedy with John Cusack. Peter Van, listen, it's definitely incomplete. If Tyson Fury doesn't fight those guys, you know, it's all comedy. It's just all talk. You fight one guy and you base your whole career off fighting one guy in your comeback. Because let's be real. When Tyson Fury, I'm not talking about Vladimir. Klitschko was too long ago. Okay, so what we have to go on, and he doesn't have that by himself anyway, because Joshua beat Vladimir. I don't buy into the Vladimir was too old shit. You know why? Because it was only a year and a half later when Vladimir fought Joshua. So if Vladimir was so fucking old when he fought Joshua, what does it make it when Fury fought Vladimir? It made him also old. 39 to 41. That's not a big difference. Okay? So with people with that argument, you can miss me with it because he was older. He was just an older king in his own right that had the patent down to beat most of those guys, and he did it for 9 fucking years. Okay? And Fury got a fight in. It wasn't ideal because he should have fought him again. Bars. And he didn't. He fell apart. See, if I really wanted to be subjective to Fury, I could question, what if Fury fell apart because he couldn't handle the idea of fighting Vladimir again? Now, I know people don't want to hear that shit, but, you know, does lightning strike twice? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. And when I mean striking twice, I mean in the same place. See, a lot of pressure could have been on Fury to do that shit again. But if he didn't believe he could do it again, maybe he might have wanted to get high and drink and whore around and do all that other stuff that he was doing instead of training to show everybody that, hey, I can do this shit again. I got the blueprint on Klitschko. I can beat Klitschko easy. I showed you how it's done, and I didn't even have to knock him out to do it. I danced around him and boxed his ass for 12 rounds and got a decision in his backyard. So the question you ask yourself is, can he do that shit again? Let's get those likes up. We got 90 people in here. Let's get those likes up. Let's go. Let's go. Hit the like button. Please know they need to be fighting, not helping each other. Brendan Jackson. Well, you answered the question. Thank you for answering that question, Brendan. Why would Tyson Fury want to train AJ anyway? You know, I mean, I know why he's doing that, but why does he feel he needs to do that? What's special about AJ? If he's just an what do you call it? Overrated bodybuilder, then why would he have to worry about training somebody like that? See, if you see no hope in a person, why would you want to train him? Obviously, he has to see something in AJ in order to want to train him, right? Say you're making that assumption off of his 2 losses. There's always a game plan. Mr. Boxing Fan, there's always a game plan, but at the end of the day, who said they had a game plan? Yeah, their game plan is to win. I get it. But it doesn't mean that he's going to is this Oleksandr Usyk? I mean, did he change Instagrams or something? Because this don't look like the one that I remember. Let me see. Okay, here we go. What? No, this ain't him. This is another cat. I'm looking up Oleksandr Usyk's. You know what? Fuck it. Send that to me. There's always a game. What up, people? Amok PvP. I think AJ learned a lot in his last fight with Usyk, a lesson he needed. Let's see what AJ does with this new level of experience. J.E. Prodigal Son, that is the most optimistic, positive way to look at it if you are riding for AJ. Counterpunch. You know, and it's also true. It's not something that's fanboyish. It's not something that like, he's going to kill him. He's going to knock out Usyk this time. No, we have to see what he's learned from the first fight. That makes sense. But that's not the question. The question is, what does Tyson Fury have to do, or what could he do with AJ? Since AJ doesn't have anything that he has. He doesn't have balls. He doesn't have a chin. He didn't say he didn't have power. That's one thing he said AJ didn't have. Because if he would have said AJ doesn't have punching power, he's lying, because he would contradict himself. Because he said AJ almost knocked him out. And he said if he had a chin like David Price, he would be. If you guys can remember that. And that's when he sparred AJ. The only time he was in the ring with Anthony Joshua was that time. Amok PvP, just showing some love. Appreciate that $10 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Counterpunch to you. That's that Counterpunch Boxing Squad love. Let's see. Samuel Apia, love from London, UK in the house. Tell Big Ben I said, what's up? Usyk is simply a completely different specimen with his skill set plus work rate. AJ can come in with the mindset of Anubis and still get washed by Usyk, especially if AJ is more aggressive. Well, here's the thing. I think people shouldn't discourage AJ for being aggressive, because I'm with Derek Chisora, honestly. If he goes in there and tries to knock out Usyk and doesn't, that was his game plan and it didn't work. But at least that game plan, he had a chance of winning by knocking him out. That boxing shit, he's going to get outboxed. And then what we've seen anyway, Joshua got tired. So it didn't matter if he tried to go in there and knock him out or he tried to box. The question you ask yourself is not if you lose, it's how you lose. See, Deontay Wilder has a fucking statue in Alabama. If I was driving from Atlanta, I would go see it. Me and my girl would go see it, but we're not. We're flying. So he has a fucking statue, all right? So at the end of the day, he has his stripes. He has his get back. He has everything, right? Now, understand this. He lost, but how did he lose? He lost heroically. He lost in the 11th round by a knockout. But did he lose any love? Did he lose any respect? Hell no. But if he was outboxed, that meant he was humiliated. See, Joshua was somewhat humiliated because he didn't know what to do. He tried to outbox the boxer. You don't do that. You try to knock the boxer out. You fight the boxer. You don't box the boxer. That's dumb. That's like saying, hey, it's a dude. That's just like, okay, a professional runner. Hey, I'm going to try to outrun the runner. You don't do that. You get your ass in a car or on a bike and you try to pass them because the whole idea is to win, not to fight somebody or challenge somebody at their own game. Counterpunch. OJ had a plan, it just not the right one for the opponent in front of him. Henry Gomez, counterpunch to you. See, that could have been it too. That could have been the case, but we don't know. Because at first, Joshua went from, you got to ask my team about my game plan. What the fuck? It went from that to, I don't need a coach. I don't need a trainer. Now it's, I didn't have a game plan. But to entertain that though, you remember when he did ask someone, what was that coach's name? He asked, hey, how do you think I can beat him? So if he's going to ask a total stranger that doesn't have anything to do with his camp, meaning he didn't pay this motherfucker to help him train for Usyk, and he asked Usyk or asked that guy, how do you beat Usyk? Maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe he didn't have a game plan. Maybe they just worked on certain shit and that certain shit worked throughout the fight, spots here and there, but it didn't get the job done. But he didn't have an overall game plan to fight and beat this motherfucker. So we don't know. We really don't know if that's true or not. Fury beat Vlad when he was unstoppable. AJ beat him coming off a loss. Amok PvP. Vlad, who says Vlad was unstoppable? You look, if that was the case, that meant Vladimir Klitschko, he did have a long run and Tyson Fury did break that long run, Amok. But understand this, he wasn't unstoppable. He was not unstoppable. There's a lot of people stopped Vladimir Klitschko. If you guys can remember, you want me to look it up? Hey, I can look it up for you. He ain't the only one. Tyson Fury ain't by himself. If it would be different if it was Tyson Fury, he did that, he started that, he ended that, right? Well, he didn't end it, but then AJ came along and beat him. Then you have an argument, well, Tyson Fury just did that already. Here's the thing. It holds no valid to me. Why? Because Tyson Fury didn't give damage to Vladimir Klitschko. He just kind of tricked him. He just, motherfucker, what you gonna do? Oh, I'm over here. Oh, grab him. Break. Jab. Move. He didn't beat Vladimir down to submission. That's why Vladimir was like, you think you're going to fight and you think you're going to win? I am ready this time. I am ready this time. And Tyson was probably hot in. He was, you think you're going to beat me? Think you're going to beat me? You think you're going to beat me? I'm like, motherfucker, you on coke. Motherfucker, you got the coke throat. You know what I mean? And then he tested positive for coke. So he didn't even fight. So it wasn't the fact that he was just so battered and beat up by Tyson Fury and then Anthony Joshua just went on and, finished him off. It ain't like that. It wasn't like that. Vladimir had not a long layoff, but he had a year and a half to heal, right? And he wouldn't have took that time if Tyson Fury wouldn't have done what he's supposed to do. We can't overlook that. Tyson Fury fell from grace. He fell from the mountaintop, okay? He thumped Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko slid down about halfway. When Vladimir Klitschko started climbing back up that mountain, there was AJ. And AJ knocked his ass all the way down, and we never seen from Vladimir since. We've seen some maybes or some exhibition talks, but nothing more, nothing less. Tell you, Kurt, why don't you train? Hot shot. I don't have time to train, man. I have a hard enough time training my damn self. Brendan, many said that about Ali and others after their losses. JE, you got a point there. There should be a rematch clause as basis. Well, Peter, there was a rematch clause. If you're talking about Vladimir and Fury, understand people. Vladimir he is just as bitter to Tyson Fury as Oscar De La Hoya is to Floyd Mayweather because look, Mayweather, Fury did the same shit. The only difference was Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather's fight was a lot closer. It was a lot closer than people thought it was. It could have went either way. So Floyd became the cash cow barely. Nonetheless, he still became the cash cow. But what he did with that newfound stardom and popularity, he said, fuck Oscar De La Hoya. I'm going to retire from the sport of boxing. And he did that shit. But what he did before he got out, he showed you how good he was by taking the L from undefeated Ricky Hatton. Tyson Fury didn't do no type of shit like that. That's just like him. If Tyson Fury did what Floyd did, Tyson Fury would have beat Vladimir, not give Vladimir his rematch, and then who was undefeated at the time? And then whoop Anthony Joshua and then retire. See, that's the thing about Floyd. Floyd just did what he wanted to do. Then he came back and beat Juan Manuel Marquez back in 2009. So Tyson, that's not Tyson Fury at all. I mean, he does some similar shit, but it's nothing like what he should be doing. See, if he was like Floyd, he should be fighting to age 38, 39. He's 33 years of age. Come on, man, you Jesus' age. Come on, man, you know, you're a young guy still. Big up Kurt from Ireland. What AJ can do, much respect to Usyk, a great boxer, but the rematch is a big test for him. Has Usyk ever had a rematch counterpunch? You are absolutely right. That I will give you. Great counterpunch. Is it Alvin Easy? Alvin Easy, great counterpunch. Listen to this. Has Oleksandr Usyk ever had a rematch? Maybe in the amateurs, but not in the pros. That's a very good point. You know, maybe the things that Usyk can do, maybe he can only do it once. You can argue that. But you have no argument if Usyk does it again to AJ. In fact, worse. But to Usyk's favor, he does get the job done. Tyson, money. Fury will do anything for money nowadays. Well, let's see if he takes the money to fight the winner. Especially if it's AJ. If AJ is able to redeem himself from Usyk, that means AJ has beat everybody that's ever been in the ring, and he's avenged both of his losses. So that means he is like up there with something like a Lennox Lewis, because Lennox Lewis has 2 losses, but both from McCall and from Rahman he avenged. Even though that McCall shit was kind of weird, but he knocked Rahman's ass out in the 4th round. Counterpunch. So he did what he's supposed to do. He lost twice, but he avenged him twice. So that means everybody that stepped up to him, he got you out eventually. Every single person. So if Anthony Joshua can do that to Oleksandr Usyk being the undefeated fighter, it would look better than what Lennox Lewis did, because what Lennox Lewis did, he got upset. Both times it was an upset. Him just fucking, tripping. He was just slipping. Bars. But he just got caught. AJ got outboxed and he just got hurt to the point where he was no good against Andy Ruiz. Big buff bastard. He should have lost all that weight anyway. Kurt is the real deal for boxing analysts. Samuel, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Lily B, Fury got into Klitschko's head. AJ fought a better version. I think that. I do believe that. For why? Because Vladimir, see, here's the thing about Vlad. Vladimir Klitschko was a guy that you can piss him off in a good way or you can piss him off in a very bad way. But the way Tyson Fury pissed him off, Tyson Fury annoyed Vladimir. I mean, he annoyed him. He came in with the Batman suit and shit. You know what I mean? And went and made a little dummy to look like Vladimir and made him look like the Joker and beat him up and all that. You know, like he did shit to Vladimir. Vladimir was like, this fucking clown. I cannot believe the balls on this guy. You know, had Vladimir put little spaces in his shoes to look taller than Tyson Fury. It was crazy. But you know, I think Klitschko, I think he felt more comfortable with AJ because AJ didn't talk that shit. But see, what he did was he knew, hey, I'm coming for somebody's head. Tyson Fury got out of the rematch. You got this young kid from Watford, AJ, and I'm about to mollywop this motherfucker from Watford. And damn near happened. Very good fight. Very good fight. You know, I saw that fight the other night, actually, a couple weeks ago. And that shit was crucial. You forget how good a fight like that is. Because, you know, we got Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 3, and all that shit. But at the end of the day, that was a very good fight. 2017, I think it was April, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a very good fight, back and forth action. And I picked Vladimir to beat AJ. You know, so people are like, oh, you're an AJ dick rider. No, sir. Fuck you. People forget that if Fury gave Vlad a rematch, he would have lost his belts, but ended up losing his belts anyway. Well, Amok, here's the thing. The only good thing about Tyson Fury, he lost the belts, but he didn't take an L. And he knew, as long as I'm undefeated, just like Jarrell Miller. Honestly, just think about it. Jarrell Miller is still an undefeated fighter, regardless of the stench that he put on professional boxing with all the drug use. He still, to this day, is undefeated. So if he goes in there and makes a good account of himself, start knocking motherfuckers out, don't let him get in there with Hunter and actually beat Hunter, someone like that, you know, and, you know, he will be back on top because he can promote himself. He has a good mouthpiece. Overall, he plays the villain real well. He literally talked himself into an Anthony Joshua fight. You know, not everybody can do that. You think Michael Hunter can do that? You think Jarrell or Jared Anderson can do that? You think Effie Ajagba can do that? No, none of them can. None of them did, but Jarrell Miller did. So, but he's undefeated. In the current landscape of heavyweight boxing, no one is beating Usyk. Brendan Jackson. Well, we will see the very next fight, won't we? But just because he beats AJ doesn't mean someone else won't come along and beat him. But I think Usyk is the kind of guy that, you know, I want to see everybody fight everybody. I want to see Usyk fight Wilder. I want to see him fight Joyce again, since Joyce is capping and popping off shit like he could stop him. I want to see him in there with Daniel Dubois. I want to see new fights. I'm tired of the fights that we always talk about and we never really get to fucking see. I'm tired of seeing that. Because at the end of the day, if those guys are not going to fight each other, is Tyson Fury really not going to fight Anthony Joshua? Okay, let that be. Just say, I'm not going to fight this motherfucker. Once upon a time, I thought about it. You know, or I might have meant it, but then who's to say that you really meant it because you had an opportunity and you didn't take it? Let's look at this. This is something to think about. If Tyson Fury, what was stopping Tyson Fury if the problem was the money in the bag? What was stopping him from calling that Prince Khalid motherfucker anyway earlier? He could have done that a month ago, a month before he actually did that. He could have done that. Because that was the person that had the money for the fight. He could have called, hey, Prince Khalid, how you doing? This is Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. I just want to know, do you have the money to back up this fight between me and the overweight bodybuilder? Yes, I do. Well, that's all you need to say, matey. Let's make this fight happen. Tell Eddie Hearn to suck my dick and sign the contract. He could have done that. Why didn't he do that? Counterpunch. So you think it was a coincidence that Tyson Fury announced that he is fighting AJ and called Prince Elite and said the money's there and $500 million and $250 million apiece and all this shit? You think that was a coincidence? Then the very next day, then Deontay Wilder wins his case. You think that shit was a coincidence? Just a big ass coincidence. Just boom. Just so happened. So did you know, Tyson Fury, you got to fight Deontay Wilder. I don't believe any of that shit no more. I don't. Because you mean to tell me you're going to stop or you're going to overlook $250 million to take 30 million from fucking Deontay Wilder? Because you know he was getting 60% of that pot. He was getting 60%. Wilder was getting 40% in the trilogy match. So, what do you think would be the smart thing to do if you were the businessman? If you knew you intentionally want to fight a particular fighter for way more money than the guy you already fucking beat last year, what would you really do? Fuck that $30 million. I'm getting $250 million in Saudi Arabia. I don't give a shit about any arbitration. Fuck you and fuck off. It couldn't have been that much because the fight wasn't for that much. You can't sue a person for something that they have nothing to do with. See, I'm not impressed with that. I'm not impressed with that at all. Michael Buffer coming in with that £5 on your boy. How bad would it look if AJ gets stopped by Usyk just after signing a long-term deal with the Zone? Did you also see that the O'Hara Davis interview I sent? No, I'm going to look at it though. I'm going to look at it at work. Thank you for the £5. I like pounds. I love pounds. Can't wait to go to the UK to collect some British pounds. Appreciate the love, man. To answer your question though, no, it wouldn't. That was actually smart because it's better to do that shit now because you think he could do that after? You think they would give fucking $100 million for him being a fighter, an advisor, a shareholder? You think he would get $100? Think he'd get 100 million pounds per year after that? If he just got destroyed by Usyk, hey, motherfucker, we signed a contract. You still gotta pay me though. See, that was smart from AJ. You don't understand the mind savvy of how that works. If he loses to Usyk, which is the worst possible scenario, they still got to pay this motherfucker. Now, the question is how long? 2 to 3 years, he's still winning. They have to pay this fucking guy for 3 years. Fuck, 2 years. He gets 100 million pounds this year. He's getting 100 million pounds for fighting Usyk anyway. Then he gets 100 million for signing this big ass deal per year. You know it has to be stretched amongst some years, maybe 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, or however long years. Even though if he gets beat, he did it at the right time because there's no guarantee that he would win. There's no guarantee that he would lose. But they know he has all those endorsements. He's still marketable. So he did it at the right time. That's a very good question, but that was a very good solution for that question, for that problem. If Usyk beats me, you still got to pay me because I'm much more than a fighter now. See, AJ is tapped into some other shit. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little secret about AJ. AJ is a businessman. You notice on his Snapchat, that motherfucker's name, his name is Ghost. If anybody knows anything about power, right? I just got educated on power. Was it last year, year before? I don't know. Me and my girl saw it and we was hooked. But you learn, if you know anything about Ghost, he's always thinking. You know, and anybody that watches that shit knows that AJ thinks and mirrors himself after that motherfucker. Because he's not just thinking about, hey, selling drugs no more. He did that. What happened? He got busted. Right? But now he wants the fight game. Now it's like, okay, I can do more. I can do more than that. I can invest in the boxing game without taking boxing punishment. Smart. AJ effing stopped Vlad. He did. AJ almost got stopped himself, to be honest. He did. That's what I'm talking about. That's what made that fight so good. Vladimir was about to bring his German machines to work. Fury dodged the bullet. I think that. But I think the bullet, who was shot, AJ was shot by those bullets that Vlad brought. He just didn't, wasn't shot by all of them. But he was hit with some big, powerful punches. AJ effing stopped Vlad. God bless you, Kurt. Joel, God bless you back, brother. Bernard, LOL. Fury is very fat and very flawed. No way he does AJ any good, nor can he himself beat Usyk. Well, here's the thing. We'll never know if he can beat Usyk nor AJ. Fuck, how about this? How about fight both of them motherfuckers? That's the only way. See, we live in this post Floyd Mayweather damaged ass sport. And don't get me wrong, I respect Floyd as Pretty Boy because I know what he had to go through. I know what he did. I know what people did to him. I know how the shit is fair. A lot of fucking people are racist. I think what is it? Not Leonard Ellerby. What's his damn name? Not Jim Lampley. What's the other fucking old guy's name? Just showed his true colors after Fury beat Wilder. Harold Letterman? Yeah, Harold Letterman. You know, he's sitting back talking about like, and I really was thinking that, you know what, maybe he's not, maybe he's just an analyst, but no, I mean, I saw it. When someone shows you shit, you pay attention. And he showed me that he was a racist. He showed me like, oh, I'm just enjoying this. Like, why the fuck are you enjoying it? You just watched an American get beat by another dude. Oh, the dude looks like you. So yeah, those are the same dudes that was giving Floyd shit all those years. And those commentators did not like Floyd because he kept winning. But the Pretty Boy Floyd, why was people fucking hating Pretty Boy Floyd? Pretty Boy Floyd was knocking motherfuckers out. He was thumping and throwing those bows. He was getting people out of there. Okay? He couldn't fight. Like all the guys that were popular that were smaller. Think about who they were back in the day. If you guys watched boxing 20 years ago, the top guys was Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales. He was very popular because he was kind of like the second Oscar de la Hoya because he was another top ranked fighter. So is Floyd though. So Floyd was a top ranked fighter. People forget he was with top rank Bob Arum. So you had De La Hoya, you had Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera, you had Floyd Mayweather. You had like Prince Asim Ahmed. He wanted to fight Ahmed. Ahmed wouldn't fight him, you know, and he was just 4 pounds up. Now, see, understand what Floyd was doing to Javante. He wanted to do for himself, but he couldn't. You know, but the only difference was back then those guys were actually had names. Okay, because remember, Lomachenko is like the equivalent of Prince Asim Ahmed, but better. You know what I'm saying? So him not wanting him to fight Lomachenko shows what he wasn't comfortable or he didn't have faith in his fighter to beat Lomachenko because he knew Lomachenko was a beast. Kurt, who wins, Fury or Vitali? I don't know. The Fury of now probably wouldn't beat Vitali because the Fury we have now is more of an aggressive Fury, but he's not as fast. Vitali had way more aggressiveness than Vladimir. Vladimir was too tentative. Vladimir only attacked you when you wasn't attacking him. He had to know exactly what was going on all the time. If you made it difficult for Vladimir, Vladimir would kind of either hold you and then he would look awkward and the way he would respond to the things that you were doing. You could throw him off. That's why Tyson Fury beat him. Tyson Fury beat him because he made it difficult and awkward for Vlad, where a lot of fighters didn't because of his overall size and reach. He could reach out and touch it, and if he missed you with a jab, he will cuff you behind the head and pull your ass forward. The jab and grab style, I absolutely hated it. I didn't like it at all. I respected the Klitschko's. Vitali was a beast, but Vladimir, I didn't really care for him. I hated the style. It was boring. He motherfucker kind of set up. He had that old European style, and he would jab you, then he would jab you, then he would grab you if you try to come in, then he would lock you up and hold you, then the referee's got to break you up. That's why the last time Vladimir Klitschko came and he fought Brian Jennings, they booed his ass for every tooth and nail. Absolutely. So I don't know. I think Vitali gets, a prime Vitali gets this Tyson Fury. The other Tyson Fury, the one that can dance and move and float like a butterfly, sting like a dragonfly type of cat, he might have a chance because he's not going to move and be in one place and be stable enough for Vitali to land those big shots. Got to get back to work. Thanks for your website. Joel, counterpunch to you, brother. Fury ran so fast, cocaine couldn't stop him. Vladimir could have prepared for Fury's style and done better the second time. People always mock Douglas Ruiz for winning once, but Fury got looked at in a different light after beating Vlad. Well, he just wasn't beaten. And I think the worst thing that happened to Tyson Fury was probably the best thing. See, the only reason he's not a Douglas or he's not a Ruiz is because he didn't get beat. He physically didn't get beat. If anything, the motherfucker went more out like Jarrell Miller. The only difference was, okay, if Jarrell Miller would have, all that happened to Jarrell, shit for drugs, then he went and got 500 pounds, you know? Because that's what, well, Buster did similar thing, but Buster got knocked out. Evander Holyfield knocked out Buster Douglas. Left hook, baby. That's the counter for an uppercut. You know, to get up on the uppercut, bow, his ass with a left hook. That's exactly what happened to Buster. Ruiz, same shit. They just got beat. Tyson Fury didn't get beat. Jarrell Miller didn't get beat. That's the difference. They are more in a similar ballpark than those cats. Just Jarrell Miller didn't really beat anybody. He just talked himself into a fight he just asked out of, which was dumb. But Liam, it's fair to say, we'll never know, but I think Vladimir would have done a much better job with Fury the second fight. I do think that. I do think he was better prepared. I do think he was wanting and anticipating and learned a lot from the loss. I think that. Hadn't moved up to fight Floyd Jr. though. Yeah, he did, but see, understand. He fought Floyd and Floyd was also small. You have to understand, Floyd was no big fucking guy. Okay? And Floyd, he was at 140 and he came to 147. Okay? He came to 147. He fought Oscar De La Hoya. Then he fought, and then he made Ricky Hatton come up. So, but I mean, those guys were pretty much in the same ballpark. From 140 to 147 is 7 pounds, true enough. But Floyd wasn't a guy that was just, he's not an Errol Spence, people. Okay? Floyd is 5'8". He's a little dude. Okay? Ricky Hatton, little dude. They both same fucking height. Both undefeated when they got in the ring together. Ricky Hatton was in his prime. Floyd was in his prime or whatever. Floyd did what he did to him. Floyd is Floyd, man. You see it. Look, if you want to appreciate Floyd, go back and watch a Pretty Boy Floyd fight. Watch every fight. Fuck that. Watch any fight, really. From 2000. Watch any fight. Especially the earlier fights. Floyd will show you why he's Floyd. That motherfucker will hit you with 10 straight right hands in 5 seconds. Then that motherfucker will follow, just like he does that shit. That shit there that he will hit you the same fucking way. Bap, 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 bap. Like he did to Tiro Gotti, he did a lot of people like that. And you think you're gonna hit him, swing at him, and see what happens. He's gonna be Ghost. He's gonna be James St. fucking Patrick when you swing at him, because you will not be able to find him. That's the difference between fighting Floyd and some other guy that swings a lot. Saying Klitschko climbed the ladder to get to AJ is just wrong. Klitschko never fought in between AJ and Fury. No, he didn't. He just fought AJ and Fury, though. That's the difference. He fought them both. But that didn't supposed to be AJ. That's supposed to have been Fury. Fury upset him, and he had to fight Fury again. So, if we want to talk about anything, speculate. Let's speculate. Fury could have ran away from an ass whooping. And Fury even said himself he was in no type of condition to fight Vladimir Klitschko again. But whose fucking fault is that? Let's stop. Like, come on, we grown. Whose fault is that? Like, if I get a job and I go out and get fucking high and can't work, and then, man, I couldn't work because I was high and depressed. No, I just went out and got fucking high. That's all that really means. Like, that was because of me. That's something I chose to do. That's something that Fury chose to do, and only Fury. It wasn't like Fury was hanging around Charlie Sheen or fucking Antonio Montana. Tyson Fury splattered BS with his pronouncements. Fury dodged the bullet twice, not once. This was the original Matrix Part 4. I didn't get that one. I am underscore Dave Kurt. It's easier for everyone to sit back and criticize the game plan. Assuming he succeeded, it would be a different story. That's human beings for you. That's true. See, if AJ knocks out Usyk, he'll be right back on top. And if Tyson Fury, though, doesn't want to come back to the sport, get the fuck out of the sport. Don't be a Floyd Mayweather. Don't try to come back when you want some attention. You know, that like, because that's what people do. And I think Floyd has been able to cope with retirement because it doesn't matter. For the longest, people wanted to see him lose so bad, still to this day, that they would still see him try to go. And the older he gets, the more people get interested to see. If not, why do you think Floyd went all the way to fucking Orient? You think he look okay? You go to the Orient and fight somebody smaller, and you beat the shit out of him. Tenzin Natsukawa, do you remember him? He beat that boy, little dude up. The dude came to him, so that meant Floyd's 5'8", and that dude was about this tall. That meant he had to be all the 5'5". That's pitiful. And he beat the shit out of that dude. Dude, Floyd, you got him by 20 pounds. You know, if you're gonna fight somebody that can have a fight fucking Manny Pacquiao again. But that's not something that he was interested in, because if he fought Manny Pacquiao again, Manny Pacquiao might beat him. And then at this time, based on age, him and Manny are like a year and a half apart. So, you know, but you fought Conor McGregor, you know, cool. He knocked him out. I was glad to see him knock out Conor McGregor, because I seen that fight with a bunch of racist cocksuckers. I really did. I was in a place right here in Georgia, and everybody and it was a lot of MMA fans. They weren't really boxing fans, but I know a lot of them are kind of like low key. The shit they were saying, fuck Floyd, and Floyd's fucking running. And I'm like, okay, these dudes watch UFC all the time. They don't know shit about boxing. You know, and then me and this other cat was there, me and Joe Singletary, shout out to him, a stunt brother. And we saw it, and then like when Floyd knocked him out, it was like, Floyd just showed up overweight against Juan Manuel Marquez. Yeah, he did that. He did. Usyk too much for AJ, but anything is possible in the heavyweight division. Donald Burke Jr. That you said may be true. That you said at the end is definitely true. This is the heavyweight division. Appreciate these lives. Please leave this up. I work out while listening to your boxing talk. Famous 789 counterpunch to you. Keep grinding, brother. Man, I forgot my jump rope. I'm pissed. I'm pissed off. I should be doing the same thing you supposed to be doing. I could be doing the same thing in the weight room right now or somewhere. I don't know if this place even has a gym. I don't know. Rounds. Well, I'll tell you this. Him trying to box Usyk, he ran out of gas. He ran out of gas at 12th round. But one thing about AJ, though, AJ, I feel if he gets hurt, all that endurance or whatever he was doing is going to get absorbed in adrenaline. Adrenaline, people, is something you get stronger, faster for a short amount of time, but at the expense of losing stamina. In other words, if somebody makes you scared and you jump, you might punch somebody, and that shit might be 2-3 times harder than you normally would punch somebody. But you're going to be tired after that because your adrenaline spiked, and what it does, it snatches your stamina away. But that all depends on how good in shape you are. So if AJ is overweight, and AJ more than likely is overweight, he's 6'6", 200 and 40 pounds, but I think he really supposed to be about 6'6", 225. So if he's 15 pounds overweight, muscle is more than fat. He's carrying muscle around. His heart is supposed to be carrying around a 225 pound leaner guy than he is, right? That 15 pounds are going to weigh in on him. Michael Buffer coming in with that 20 pounds. Fury is the new AJ. He's doing lots of interviews and playing the nice guy role. Fury used to hate AJ getting so much love. That's why I believe he came back to boxing, because AJ, and he knew to get the credit he needed to beat Wilder. Counterpunch. Appreciate the love once again, bro. Let me add to that, all right? I think you're right. You think it's all of a sudden another coincidence that Tyson Fury is coming back to the sport of boxing after that big ass, huge, fat ass deal that's been signed, sealed, delivered for AJ? You think this is just what it is? See, here's the thing. Tyson Fury claims that he's retired. Why would he give a fuck? Why would he want people back to sports? Why would an exhibition have to be so publicized? Exhibitions is a fucking exhibition. That ain't a fight. That ain't a true duel. It ain't real boxing. It's just something that it's an exhibition. That's all it is. Right? So that's the difference. So if you're sitting there saying, hey, look at me, I'm doing an exhibition, you want attention. You want attention, you crave the attention. Now, everyone knew who AJ was. Everyone knew that the man made more money than all the other people. He gets haters. The motherfucker at the top is going to be hated from everybody below him. That's facts. And if he ain't hated, he's definitely low key, envied, right? So it is what it is. So he signed that big ass deal, and he's still in the sport of boxing. And let me give you a little something else to think about. Maybe Tyson Fury is low-key pissed off. I want people to hear me, because I'm about to drop some knowledge, something that you haven't thought of. Maybe Fury is low-key feeling unappreciated because Anthony Joshua took an L from Oleksandr Usyk and was still able to make that money and get that huge deal without fighting him. Think about that. So if you're Tyson Fury, a guy that's never been beat, a guy that's the WBC heavyweight current champion of the world, superstar boxer, and you're looking at it like, damn, this guy just took an L. This bastard's made $100 million. I've just made 25, right? Or what is it, 25, 26, 27 million? But this motherfucker's making 100 million. What am I doing wrong? Fuck him. I should be getting 100 million pounds. So maybe Tyson's thinking like that. Maybe Tyson, is envious a bit. He wants what somebody else has. That's envy. That's not jealousy. Jealousy is when you already have it and you're afraid somebody's going to take it from you. Envy is you want what somebody else got. And what somebody else got, you won't have. And what you don't have, you want. Maybe Tyson Fury wants that. Maybe Tyson Fury wants that $100 million bag. And now, damn, this bastard is still able to get this shit without fighting me, the best heavyweight in the world, allegedly. It's just something to think about. AG's BMI is about 27 kilograms per square, mid overweight. Yeah, Mr. Boxing fan, how can Tyson not be pissed off? AJ's going to make $500 million in 5 years. Damn, I didn't even think about it like that, but that is $500 million, 500 million. Motherfuck that. He's making more than that. That's that's 100 million pounds. So 100 million pounds ain't $500 million. It's a lot more than that. Not five. He's not making $100 million. He's making 100 million pounds. So what's 100? Well, no. Let's do it right. What's 500 million pounds in dollars? That's 610 million. 792,500. So it's 600,000. So he's making damn near, that's damn, way over 100. No, is it 61 million more? Past 100, $500 million. That's crazy. So. Envy and jealousy means the same thing, just saying. I mean, maybe it's the same spirit, but it's not the same fucking thing. It's the opposite. Fury is jealous of AJ. Well, okay. Fury was begging Usyk not to steal his payday by beating AJ. He really was Skrilla 50. You remember that. But Fury's promoters should have helped Eddie Hearn secure the AJ fight. He should have. But what they wanted to do, you know what I feel? I feel that they knew they were going to fight Wilder, but they wanted to hype up the fight. They thought that Anthony Joshua was going to knock out little ass Usyk, and they knew Tyson Fury was going to beat Wilder. So that fight would have been marinated until this year. So this year, we should have had, at least by probably last month, this month, we had an AJ versus Fury fight, which would have been the biggest fight, period. Now, Canelo is nobody that Canelo could. He already fought Triple G. That was his whatever. There's nobody up there. Tyson Fury and AJ would have made $500 million. They would have split 250 million apiece. That would have been the biggest. The only problem was Usyk. Usyk came in and upset Joshua. Tyson Fury and his team knew they were going to fight Wilder. They wouldn't have all of a sudden, knowing you had a deal for that much money on the table, you were going to overlook that big ass deal to fight somebody that you say that you were quote unquote obligated by an arbitration to face. That's bullshit. I don't believe any of it. Bob Arum was already looking for venues 2 weeks before that particular decision was made. So why would he be looking for that? Cheap as he is. Bob Arum was looking for that shit because Bob Arum knew that he had to fight or he was going to fight Deontay Wilder. That was just some shit that people didn't know. That fight was going to happen first. He was going to tune up with Wilder. Okay. Then he was going to fight AJ. When AJ beat them, then they were going to meet for all the belts. Undisputed, Saudi Arabia, $500 million. James Bash, peace, Kurt. Been a minute. Glad to catch you live. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the $2 super chat. 2 for 2. AJ should fight to his strength, timing, and power. Leave Usyk to fight his style. Any opportunity of AJ touching him, he should time, but hit very hard, follow through, and not hold back. Yeah, he's going to have to do something. Knockout. Fury has always been jealous of AJ as he just can't get AJ off his mouth. He worries too much about what AJ does. Then AJ worries about him. Warm Hearts Worldwide Charity counterpunch to you. And you know what? You make a good point. You know how a person you can tell who's more important or who's hounding who is the amount of times that person talks about the other person. That's how you tell if somebody likes you or not. If they always talk shit about you or they hate you, they either love you or hate you. If you hear, like, how many times you heard AJ talk about Tyson Fury? He only talks about Tyson Fury when he hears that Tyson Fury says something to him. Other words, he's just talking about the shit he's doing, hanging out with his boys, going to Dubai, eating shrimps and steaks and shit, playing football and volleyball on the beach, probably slamming chicks. But I mean, you don't hear him talk about that. Selvin Crockett, you're right, Kurt. He's always envious of Anthony. He talked about how rich he is, yet I don't think he's half as rich as AJ, who don't boast about his wealth. And also, Tyson Fury's, he has money. He has a lot of money, but his biggest fights have been against Deontay Wilder. But he did sign the contract with ESPN. And those fights, Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin, they did horrible. They were on ESPN, and the fights did horrible in the gate. The gate was terrible. They had to give 5,000 tickets away. That was terrible. But did you hear Bob Arum complain about Tyson Fury the way he complained about Terrence Crawford? Both undefeated fighters, both this and both that. And if Terrence Crawford really wanted to win a case, he could bring up that comparison. Like, those were shit fights. Those fights didn't make any money. The network lost money by putting on that fight, televising that fight. with both Schwartz and Weiling. So why didn't Bob say, Tyson Fury's a good fighter, but he just doesn't sell. He's a good showsman, but he didn't sell the tickets that we expected to tell and sell. So I think I'm wasting money on this kid. You never heard him say that shit. I must say and add, you are the best boxing analyst. Most of the comment to commend you. You think out the box and you can use your head to analyze things. No, none other come close to your intelligent, sound mind. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. AJ has the black privilege overrated. I don't know what the hell that means. I didn't think that was a such fucking thing. Black privilege. I don't know what the hell black privilege meant. You know. Also, let me drop this on you guys before I jump off of here, and I want you guys to understand and listen to this very carefully. Tyson Fury better keep promoting himself. Tyson Fury better start making a stand, because if he doesn't, the exhibitions that he thinks that he's going to have won't mean anything. The game plan, the projections for Tyson Fury, I think if he doesn't fight the winner out of AJ or Oleksandr Usyk, his stock will drop and people will soon forget about him. Especially if AJ beats Usyk and then he doesn't want to fight AJ. The UK fans, the ones that he thinks he has, he won't have for long. Because if he never proves that he's the best, they would just say, oh, he's just a shit-talking gypsy. That's all they're going to say. That's all they're going to talk about. And then AJ's going to make millions on top of millions on top of millions on top of millions. And then, you know what? He's going to knock and beat everybody. You know, I see him beating Joe Joyce. I see Joshua beating Joe Joyce. I see him beating Daniel Dubois. Who else really is there? If he beats Usyk, he's already beat Usyk. The biggest fight then could be made if Deontay Wilder comes back, but that's not set in stone. So if he doesn't come back to the sport of boxing and claim his position in the sport, he is going to plummet in popularity. Marquee value, people won't give a shit, especially if we catch him drunk and shit again, because we've seen him do that and we've seen what could be the possibility. We can see the result of him spiraling out of control, because that's what Tyson Fury does. Tyson Fury, to me, I don't judge Tyson Fury, because I have the same spirit. Sometimes you just want to go get fucking wasted, hang out, do whatever you're going to do. But you can't do that if you're a public figure. That's why when he got drunk and he went and you're going to the negative. You're going into those dark places. You're going into those points. People will be worried more about Tyson Fury than being really a fan of him. And then you'll have people that, oh man, he's just a bum and this, that, and the other. But Tyson Fury needs to do what Tyson Fury is known to do, being a fighting man, not a trainer to Anthony Joshua, not running away from a Usyk fight, but a fighting man. That's all he knows. That's all he should show. Bars. But anyway, thank you guys for coming on. I got to get ready for work. Stay tuned for some more videos coming your way. I will try to get another live stream out at least by Monday. God bless you all. Be safe. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.